All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing now for our quiz 1.4 through 1.6. And we're going to talk about different angles. We're going to talk about vertical angles and linear pairs. We're also going to talk about some polygons. I am not going to do all of this. I'm going to leave some of this for you to do. Okay? Some of these look really familiar. I'm actually going to skip number 1 because I think you can do that on your own. But we will go over this tomorrow before the quiz to make sure you got it. I am going to look at number 2, angle addition postulate. We want to know A, B, and C. So we've got a lovely angle that looks something like this. We've got A, B, P. Oh, that should be A. Thank you very much. That's very confusing. Okay. All right. We know this is 65. We know this is 57. What is the measure of angle A, B, C? Anybody?
132.
132. And how did you get that?
Added 75.
Yeah, added 75 plus 57. Okay. All right. So let's talk about, I'm not going to do number 3, but we're going to talk about this. How do you know if an angle is acute?
It's below 90 degrees.
Below 90, above 0. How do you know if it's right?
If it's exactly 90 degrees.
Exactly 90, obtuse?
If it's more than 90 degrees.
And if it's straight?
180.
Okay. We did a distance formula for the warm-up, so you should be good for E to F on there. I think you can do the rest of those. Okay, let's look at 4. I'm just going to do 4A. And then I'm going to let you guys do B. Ugh. Okay, 4A, we've got C is from 4 to 3, and D is from -2 to 0. And we're going to use the midpoint formula. Anybody remember what the midpoint formula is? X1 plus X2 divided by 2, comma.
Y1 plus Y2 divided by 2.
Yep. Remember, we're going to label them X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So it's simply 4, It's 4 plus -2 over 2, and 3 plus 0 over 2. 4 plus -2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. 3 plus 0 is 3. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Or 1.5. So you should be able to do B. Okay, let's look at, I'm just going to talk about 5. I'm not going to do it. What does it mean when you bisect an angle? You cut it in half. So if you know what TPS is, do you know what RPT is? Yes, and you can figure out RPS? Feel confident about that? If it cuts it in half and 1/2 is 37, what's the other half? Okay, and how would you figure out the whole angle together? There we go. You add them together. Okay, and for number 6, again, we're bisecting it, so are those angles what?
Equal.
Those angles are equal. Good. Okay, for number 7, we've done these before. This is exactly the same thing from your notes. But let's go over 7B. Okay, I want somebody, I'm not going to go through each one of these. I want you to raise your hand if you can tell me a linear pair from here. Raise your hand if you can tell me a linear pair from this picture. Derek, you want to try? That would be a vertical angle. Sam, you want to help him out? A linear pair? A linear pair adds together to equal what?
180.
180. Which one shows me a straight line? Try again. 1 and 5. 1 and 5. They're the only two that make up a straight line. Remember, a pair means it's two angles that would make up a straight line. So 1 and 5 is our only linear pair. Can somebody tell me a vertical angles? Derek. 1 and 4 are vertical angles. There are only vertical angles. Vertical angles have to look like an X. See how it makes an X? Those are our vertical angles. Okay. Which do you want to do, 8A or B? You guys have a preference? You want to do B? Okay, there's a mistake on B. That little tiny y isn't supposed to be there. So that should make it better. We've got right here 2x minus 5, and then this is 75. What do I do to figure out what x is? What? Do I set them equal to each other, or do I add them together to get 180? Give me one finger if you think I set them equal to each other. The index finger, please. 2 fingers if you think you add them together to get 180. 1 finger equal, 2 fingers for 180. Okay. My 1 finger people. Why do you think you set them equal to each other? Because that was your best guess. Okay. My 2 finger people. Why do you think I add them together to get 180? Yes, Sam. Because it's a linear pair. And how do I know it's a linear pair, Sam? Because we've got that straight line right there. Do you guys see that? When would I set them equal to each other? If it forms a what?
Vertical.
And you know it's a vertical angle if you've got a X and they're opposite each other, right? Those are vertical angles because they're opposite each other. Linear pairs are adjacent to each other. Okay, so we're going to add these together. Set it equal to 180. Okay, so we get 2x plus 70. Do you guys know where I got the 70 from?
You just minus the 5.
Minus the 5 from 75 because they're right next to each other. Real easy. I'm going to subtract 70. And I get 2x equals 8 minus 7 is 1, so I get 110. So I divide both sides by 2, and what does x equal? 55. Okay. So remember to figure this out, we could simply go 2 times 55 minus 5, and it would give us that angle right there. Obviously, this is not drawn to scale. So let's do that real quick. 2 times 55 minus 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10, 11. Minus 5 gives us 105 degrees. Yes?
For when you're doing the x minus 5 plus 75,
Yes.
well, why are you subtracting instead of adding?
70?
Yeah.
Why am I subtracting 70? If you move it across the equal sign, it has to be the opposite of what you're doing. So, this is a good algebra tip. You're doing 2x minus 2 equals 10. How am I going to move to the 2 to the other side? Am I going to go minus 2 or plus 2? Plus 2, because when you move it across the equal sign, you always do the opposite of what it says. Why I do that is because negative 2 plus 2 gives me 0. So those are canceled. That's why we're doing the opposite, because we want it to get to 0 on one side. Sam, do you have a question?
Angle IJ is 105 degrees. How come it's
It is not drawn to scale. It is not drawn to scale. All right, we're looking at number 9. What kind of polygon is the first one for number 9? How many sides does it have?
6?
So it is a hexagon. Is it equal, lateral, equal, angular, or regular? Regular, because it's both, right? And then you guys do the next one. So I'm going to give you the rest of the hour to work on this. If you finish it before the end of the hour, I'm going to have an answer key up here that I'm going to make in just a second. And you're going to check it. When you're done with that, you can go ahead and work on your homework. I know it's a lot of different pages. It really is only 13 problems. It's just 13 problems from a lot of different pages. Okay? And I really needed to go to all those different pages to make sure you were prepared for the quiz. Okay? Any questions? We're feeling okay? All right. What do we need to do first?